Before getting started with today's video, I did want to say that we have another limited edition piece of merchandise, and that is the Lawless t-shirt. It's linked down below, and if you want to grab one, please check it out. Again, it's only available for a short duration. So today's video is top 6 essential tips for Red Dead Redemption 2, and this is different than the top 5 in general tips that I did previously, because most of these will center on problem solving and try and tackle a lot of obstacles that players may encounter. They will also kind of give you a heads up for certain things that are missable, and other ways of getting around some of the annoying functions in the game that you may not otherwise have understood or known. The first tip is about recovering lost items, and there are a bunch of different ways to do this, and a lot of people don't even know that these sections of the inventory exist. So number one is if you have a weapon or a throwing axe or a unique dagger or anything that you've lost in your travels, something you found and can no longer find, the primary place that you're going to check is your horse. You go to your horse and you have a whole bunch of different scrolling wheels that are in your horse's equipment saddlebags, and within those wheels you'll have multiple different pieces of equipment. So if I scroll through here, I have multiple hunting knives. I have 5 of them. I have a lantern. I have 6 different hatchets that I can scroll all the way through, and previously I thought I had lost one of these hatchets, but after I saved my game and I came back to Red Dead Redemption, it was here. So if you have lost a weapon of any kind or picked it up and then otherwise you lose track of it, check your horse and scroll through all the different options, because it very well may be here. And even if it's not there right away, try reloading your save or dying and coming back, or going to camp or sleeping. Another way of kind of hard resetting your game, and then scroll through the horse's inventory yet again, because all of these items will be back after hard resets, and then you'll be able to pick them up again. The second place to check, and this is purely for cosmetic items, is in your wardrobe. And some people, for one reason or another, don't realize that there are multiple tabs to the wardrobe. So if you aren't able to find a hat, a specific hat that you maybe stole or found in another location or bought, if you scroll through, or crafted especially, if you scroll through the hats section, you can go to crafted hats, then you have found hats, then you have stolen hats, and then you have hats on horse, which are the ones that are actually being carried on your horse. It may seem like all of the hats should be under the owned hats tab, but that's actually not the case. As you can see here, I don't have either of my legendary hats, and if I scroll over to crafted hats, there they are. You can get a lot more of these. I have a pretty pitiful selection at the moment, but this is a way to find some of the cosmetic items that you maybe lose track of and don't know where they went. The final tip about recovering lost items has to do specifically with legendary animal hunting and pelts. I know a lot of people have run into this, and I myself did actually as well with my first kill of the legendary bear. If you have a legendary pelt on your horse, and for any reason you lose that pelt, whether you're riding and it falls off and your horse gets knocked over, or you get arrested, or you die, or any number of reasons, if the pelt disappears from your horse, a lot of people have commented about this or asked me in the live streams. Do not stress. Simply go to the trapper and the pelt will be there available for crafting as if you had delivered it to him. The only thing that you miss out if you lose the pelt in transit, the only thing that you lose out on is the money that you would have gotten from actually physically selling it to him. So if you've lost a legendary pelt, never fear, you can still craft all of the unique cosmetic items from the trapper simply by going and visiting him. The next tip has to do with raising your honor, because there are some definite and powerful benefits to having a high honor level. I won't go through all of the specific honor ranks and all of their different benefits, but you can get multiple bonuses such as a discount in shops of 10%, 25%, even 50% for having a high honor level, as well as multiple other things that will benefit you, like increased loot from enemies. There's a whole bunch of reasons to make sure that your honor level is high, unless you're doing kind of a dedicated criminal playthrough, which is also respectable. I won't say that you need to, but there are benefits to having high honor. The best way and the fastest way is, despite my previous assumptions, to walk around any city or camp and simply greet people. You get a small amount of honor, and periodically, as you're greeting a whole bunch of people in a row, your honor will rise, and this is free of charge. You don't actually have to have any money in order to do this. The second way, though, and a way that I consider to be faster, though you do have to pay money, is going up to the camp's main deposit location, the bank of your camp, and putting in money over and over and over in the amount of $20. This can raise your honor, and I did a previous video almost entirely on this concept. All you do is deposit $20 over and over and over, and you can raise your honor with a few $100s or a few $1,000s even, from any deficit all the way up well into the positive. People have routinely asked me what the benefits are to having high honor, and the simplest explanation is not only do you get the discount or increased loot, you also get multiple outfits available from stores that you otherwise would not get. So there are a bunch of benefits to having super high honor, and there are not really any negatives to having low honor that I've encountered, but having a high honor, definitely really good. The next tip has to do with a rare missable sniper rifle, and the reason that I'm saying this tip is because a lot of people are going for 100% completion that I know of, or they just really want to have a cool, rare, legendary sniper rifle. You can miss this gun and then never have a chance to get it again in that entire playthrough, so that's why I wanted to talk about it. Now, without going too deep into it, because there are spoilers involved with this, I will just say that if you want the legendary rolling block rifle, you need to look out for a mission where there is a barn, a bunch of cornfields around you, and a battle. That's all I'm going to say. Hopefully that's not already too many spoilers, and I apologize if it is, but just make sure that if you have a mission with a lot of cornfields, a barn, and fighting, that you're keeping an eye out for this and looking for the legendary gun icon on your minimap, and make sure you loot it, because if you go by and you don't get that gun at that time, you can never get it again in the game, and this is one of the completion aspects where you would need it to get 100% or to fully complete or get all the Easter eggs, etc. This is a legendary item weapon. It's pretty cool, and I wouldn't want people to miss it. The next tip has to do with aiming, and it's odd because one of the primary concerns and complaints that I've heard about the game as a whole is that the aiming sucks, they can't aim well, you know, the combat's bad, etc., etc. Well, there's a very easy way to fix this, or at least mitigate some of it and dial it into your own preferences. And if you go into your menu, it seems like not a lot of people know this for some reason. You go to the settings tab and you go to controls, then you're able to actually adjust the cone and the effect of the aim assist and the targeting. So you have lock on for on foot, you can have normal, you can have narrow, which means much less of it, you can have free aim, which disables it entirely, and then you can have wide or normal, but wide, which is, you know, magnetic aim from a great deal of distance away. So having the lock on mode at whatever, you know, amount your preference is going to make a big difference in how the combat functions. The primary reason why people are having so much trouble or have this complaint, in my eyes, is because they're fighting against the auto aim. They're trying to aim as if they're in free aim while having it on normal and having a lot of lock-on assistance on their controller. So if you want to disable this, you can, and you can do multiple adjustments here. You can adjust the strength of the aim assist, you can adjust the aim assist while mounted or in a vehicle, same as on foot, and both of them have different sliders. So you're able to make huge adjustments to this and make sure that the combat feels better for you. If you don't like the aim assist, then you can turn it off completely. And I've found that the best balance is having it on normal, but just pop shotting. I take advantage of the aim assist because it makes me feel like I'm in a Wild West movie, and every encounter is some cinematic kind of super cool, I'm a talented gunslinger kind of deal. And most people maybe don't like that. You can turn it off, you can play it in a more skill-based way, or you can turn it up higher and take advantage of it even more. Either way, if one of your complaints about the game is that the combat is bad and that aiming is bad, please take a look at this system and make various adjustments and try different layouts for the aim assist, because it can make a huge difference. And if that is the only complaint about the game, is that the aim assist and targeting is really bad, it's fixable. The next tip has to do with Deadeye in combat, and it's by no means essential, but when you enter Deadeye mode, you can fully reload your weapon. So when you're in a high-stress combat scenario where there's a lot of different enemies around, instead of pressing Deadeye and then remaining in the Deadeye mode and fighting against multiple targets that way, because you're wasting a lot of time in that regard, you tap it for a split second, land one shot, and then release it. And then the same goes over and over, because every time you enter Deadeye like that, you can reload extremely quickly, and then you can bounce from target to target, maximizing the usage of Deadeye for a longer period of time, slaying more targets, and then also cutting down on your reload speed. It's not a unique tip. I know a lot of people have already talked about this, but I figured I would put it in for anyone that doesn't already know, because when you use Deadeye properly, or I shouldn't say properly, when you use Deadeye like this in the kind of piecemeal tidbits snapshot way, you actually are able to, take down much more enemies much faster than if you use Deadeye as one continuous animation and thing. The last tip that I have is not going to apply to most people, but unfortunately I've had a couple people talk about how it's really annoying when you're in a carriage or a horse-drawn vehicle and you get stuck because then you have to redo the entire mission. Well, it turns out that's not actually true. What you can do is hold the right bumper and then mash on the A key and the carriage will back up very slowly. I know most people will probably already know this or not care about this and never get a carriage stuck, but if you get a carriage stuck and don't know about this and end up redoing the entire mission, it can be frustrating and a really unpleasant experience. So if you do get a carriage stuck, you can hold the right bumper, mash the A key, and you will back up very slowly. You get it unstuck, and then you just complete the mission. That's going to wrap it up for this tips video. I know that there is a lot of redundant information circulating on YouTube now, and some of the tips in this video definitely fall into that category, but hopefully it was helpful in some way or another to at least a semi-large group of gamers. And as I keep finding other tips or coming up with concepts for videos, I'll keep trying to produce meaningful content on the channel. I'll try not to get into the whole wormhole of meaningless clickbait, even though I've definitely already strayed too close to that in some previous ones, but I'll try and work on it and make sure that the content is consistent, valuable, and useful information. Again, if you want to support the channel, you can check out these limited edition shirts right here, the lawless shirts, if you will, and hopefully some people end up liking those. If you want to support the channel in other ways, there are various links down in the description. I do live stream on YouTube now instead of Twitch, and I live stream Red Dead Redemption 2. Been consistently doing that for the past few days. If you want to catch a live broadcast, please subscribe and hit the notification bell, and hopefully you'll be able to jump in when I go live. There's also a Facebook group, a Discord server, a Twitch link as well. You can follow my Twitch channel, but I'm not streaming there right now, and I have to figure out what I'm going to do about that in the future. But if you're more of a Twitch viewer, there's something there too. We do have our own independent gaming forums if you want to help us get the content flowing there, and there's still some other links down there if you just want to explore what Upper Echelon is. That is going to wrap it up though. Right there, I'll stop rambling. Thank you for watching, and if you do have feedback or ideas for future videos, please drop them in the comments down below. I'm very open to that, but again, that's enough. Have a nice night.